the first thing comes to mind is we have this many guys coming at mid-year, which is unique. When typically, some of those guys would be coming in the second portal or in the summer. They're all here now. All kind of came at once. I'd have to go back and look and see if we ever had 51 new guys from January to like June, if that ever came. It's all kind of come at once, which I guess is a good thing. I think when it comes to the high school, the high school recruits who came at mid-year, a lot of those guys know what we are, so there's been a relationship there. They've seen it. They've been to games. They've been to practices, kind of like what we were talking before. The more these guys can be around our program, I think a guy like Chris Henry, I can't imagine how many games and practices he's been to over these years, camp, and so what happens is even though they're new guys, they've been around. They know kind of what it's supposed to look like. And then in terms of the players who came in the portal, a lot of these guys, there was some sort of a connection here. When you think about, Cam Calhoun, he went to Winton Woods, so he knows Jermaine. He knows what this is supposed to look like. Quay and James and Earl, they know some of these guys, and Caleb, knows those guys well. So he could set the expectation of what the culture is and making sure that was the right fit. So Kyle Parker, he worked with Cortez. So this isn't just a bunch of guys coming in off the street that we don't know. Obviously, there's been relationships built. Doesn't guarantee anything, but it's not just random. And I think, that's intentional. But there's no question that, these guys haven't played for the Buckeyes before. And I mentioned it out there, there's guys in that group right there that have scars here, that have had success here, and there's a lot of guys that haven't played one snap here yet. So all that comes into play this season. And I guess, we're not unique to that, though. I guess it's the same way across the country, and it's just something that we have to continue to figure out. I mentioned this to somebody the other day, and, I had went on a couple visits with my son, and so I had a little free time, traveling, and so I watched that Netflix documentary on the dinosaurs. And, if you want to feel insignificant, watch that, because it talks about how the dinosaurs were on Earth like 250 million years ago. And, throughout time, it got all the way to like 65 million years ago. Over that time, the world changed, the climate changed, the Earth changed. And some dinosaurs figured out how to continue to adapt, and some died. And I guess that's a little extreme, but I think it's kind of the way it is in college football. The people who know how to adapt are going to continue to move on, and the ones who don't, they die. And so as frustrating as it all is, as much as we all want to just pull our hair out and throw our hands up and realize that this is all extremely crazy, and even being with some of the NFL personnel last Wednesday when they look at you and say, you are insane to be in college football. They're right, but either you adapt or you die. And so this is another phase of it, is bringing in a whole half of your team is new. They've never played a down of football here. And we're not allowed to lose a game. So we're going to adapt, and we're not going to die.